This is the Expos Baseball Network.
CFCF 600 Montreal.
It's 11:28.
Good evening. This is Herb Luft. It's 79 degrees, clear in Montreal. The forecast calls for clear skies overnight, sunny and warm tomorrow with a light possibility of thunder showers late in the day. Baseball, the Expos nipped the Atlanta Braves 8-7 in a game carried here on Radio 600. The news tonight for Canadian Broadloom, 5828 Sherbrooke, west of Melrose. And for Richelieu Ford, the dealer with a record of successful service, 3175 Victoria in Lachine.
Ford's better ideas have produced better Ford cars. Richelieu Ford's better ideas have resulted in better sales and maintenance service for you and your Ford. Get acquainted with Richelieu Ford, the dealer with a record of successful service at 3175 Victoria in Lachine.
In the news tonight, talk of a national rail strike. Marassa presses plans for super tanker ports, and fires continue to rage in the U.S. Northwest. Indications are the rail dispute is heading into a crucial weekend. Mediation talks in Montreal are said to be on the verge of collapse, and reports out of Chatham, Ontario tonight say the non-operating rail unions may call a national walkout Monday if no settlement is reached over the weekend. Here's News Radio's Ed Anders.
Bill Dewar, a spokesman for Local 185 of the Canadian Brotherhood of Railway Trainmen and General Workers, says a call for a national strike could come before Monday. He also says that if the government orders workers back to work, 56,000 non-operators from across the country will book off sick. Canadian Railways are also facing the threat of strike action by conductors and brakemen. The members of the United Transportation Workers can legally strike Wednesday at midnight. Ed Andrews, News Radio, Chatham.
There's no word from strike headquarters here in Montreal on talk of the national walkout, but the selective strike program is being intensified. Many of Quebec's 18,000 non-ops began walking off their jobs in late afternoon following the union announcement that a 48-hour strike is to begin in Quebec no later than midnight tonight. Non-ops in northwestern Ontario, Manitoba, and Saskatchewan are to begin a 66-hour walkout no later than 6 tomorrow morning, when their counterparts in Alberta, British Columbia, the Yukon, and the Northwest Territories are scheduled to return to work. Ontario workers were to have ended their strike at midnight tonight, but that was extended till 6 tomorrow morning. The union leadership in Montreal also announced that no prior warning would be given of future strike locations. Last night, non-ops in Thunder Bay stopped a beef train headed for Montreal. Tonight, they warn of similar tactics. More from News Radio's Barry McDivitt.
Thunder Bay isn't a strike zone, but areas east of the city are. Local non-ops claim that if they hadn't stopped the train, someone else further down the line would have. Well, this evening, the strike coordinator for Northwestern Ontario's non-ops, Frank Meserve, announced that starting immediately, all trains that aren't carrying grain will be stopped from entering the city. Even as Meserve read his statement, a grain train was stopped by picketers, examined, and then allowed to move on to the elevators. Meserve claims that the time for more selective strikes in Western Canada has come. Barry McDivitt, News Radio, Thunder Bay.
The Food Prices Review Board has a deal with the food chains and advice for consumers. Details from News Radio's Paul Taylor in Ottawa.
Following a day-long session with 9 of the major food retailers in Canada, the Food Prices Review Board has issued its first report. Chairwoman Beryl Plumtree announced that the retailers have agreed where there is more than one price sticker, the lower one will be the selling price. Any violations should be reported first to the store manager, then to the board. She also said the food industry would attempt to reduce the proliferation of package sizes. For the consumer, Mrs. Plumtree advised them not to hoard merchandise because that contributes to price increases. She urged comparative shopping and immediate reporting to the board of all price increases that strike consumers as unjustified. For the government who created the board, Mrs. Plumtree had little less than scorn. She said she received almost no help whatsoever in finding staff. Paul Taylor, News Radio in Ottawa.
All right, Dave. Well.